Hey guys. Check, someone's watching. Um, I'm here to do this, but I'm sort of about stuff, to be honest. So we'll see how we go with it. It's been a big day, and then I stuffed around way longer than I should have on someone's ride on lawnmower and got all the cutter tack back together. So that's done. I don't have to worry about that tomorrow. There's still things I've got to do tonight, but apart from that, we're doing good. Here's Peter. Peter may not be talking, but at least he's here in the chat, which I really appreciate. Scott and Tara, hey. I'm sort of clean again, or not, depending. Yeah, new setup here. So this is the first onshape live stream with this. Getting used to it. It's very good for a couple of reasons. One is that the screen's probably an inch shorter than my old one, so I can actually see the big screen. I don't have to peer over the top. It's got a better camera. The scrolly stuff is all a bit different, to be honest. So we'll see how we go with that. I'm going to be probably a bit slow with that for a bit. But anyway, that's what we've done. Unfortunately, my monetization on this channel's come back. I finally got everything, all my T's crossed, my I's dotted. So you're going to have to put up with ads if you haven't got ad blocker or premium. But anyway, there we go. Was a bit of money I was missing out on, and I sort of was missing it, to be honest. Anyway, let's have a look. We were messing around with this block plane. The camera on this is much better, to be honest. Much better than the old Alienware deal. Probably nearly pick up that writing on there. Take care, Scott. You're up early. So, looking at this, where do we even keep going? We've got all the front end done pretty much. We've got the screw in here. We've got this little slidey open and close knob all working. We've got the writing all on here. We've got the face in here. We've done the blade. It's in place. Next thing is sort of this. I guess this lever, which is a bit ugly. I didn't straighten it out as promised. It's actually got a thread in it when we look at it. It's threaded in that hole, the screw. But this little screw is also threaded in here. Right, so basically that's what holds it all down. Screws in the required amount, and it stops it moving, falling out. So we're probably not going to actually do that, but we're going to just set it up here on the piece with a with a connection here so that it turns and it stays in the right spot this way. So it's not going to fall off. It's going to be connected there, but it's going to turn. So that's it. Bit ugly, but let's have a look. And this piece here, which is a little screw. Let's start. Let's dive in. I keep picking up my mouse, which is not actually connected at the moment, so we need to work on that. So onshape, I'm starting here with got this like getting started with onshape thing popped up here. I hope we got an actual cursor. Have we got a cursor in here? That's interesting. Why don't we have a cursor? Most strange. I'm just looking here through the settings to see where I might actually do that. Because that might be a bit of a problem. Yep, don't know. Interesting. It might be that we're actually let's fix that. So it's a full screen thing. Don't know why that is. I'm not sure why that is. Anyway, fix that. No idea. But we'll get on top of that, promise. Thanks for your patience, guys. Anyway, let's scroll back down here. We've got this screen come up that says owned by me and basically create a new document or whatever else when you first log in. We've already been working on this, so let's select low angle block plane. And that's what we've got. We're in the assembly mode there. That zooms in and out. Two fingers scroll around there. We might be able to get a hang of this. I don't know. Up and down zooms in and out. Okay, we'll get the hang of this. So pull this lever and the front moves in and out. That works. Still got a blade there. And we need, I think we probably need a new part. Let's start with a new part. We'll create a part studio. We'll rename this because it says Part Studio 1. Oh, look at that. I did that first time. Cap iron screw. We're going to call that a typo. Mostly typos happen on this because the keyboard's a little bit smaller than I'm used to, but we're getting there. We're going to do the screw this way around, I think, because it's a bit of an odd shape. We could make a cylinder and then a piece on top. Probably the easiest way to do it is start a sketch on the front plane. So we've clicked front here, and it's put front plane here. We can also click it up here and select the sketch plane. Now, align, and we'll type Q for a construction line. Start on the origin point, come up here a certain amount, and we'll press escape. And that way we've got a construction line of unknown sort of. So it looks like the section of a screw sort of, but it's nowhere near. So what we need to do is put some dimensions on it. We dimension this and click it across there onto there. That gives us a diameter dimension. That's function. Control Z. Start again. That one, and then the construction line gives us a diameter dimension. There's 7 millimeters we're looking for. I think I'll get the hang of this. Maybe. Anyway, that looks to be 16 millimeters tall, 16 millimeters high. 16. And the diameter of it seems to be, what do we got? We'll call it 10 mil. Yeah, we'll call it 10 millimeters. So from that dot to there, dimension, and then that dot, and there. $10 millimeters. Now it's not quite, if we look at it, it's not quite a full circle dome, and it's got a bit of a exactly flat underneath either, so we're going to modify this a little bit. If we zoom that out, if you get used to the trackpad on this, and we change this angle to, it's about 30 degrees, so we'll call it 120, which is 90 plus 30. Now he's having trouble with that. I think it's that one that we need to delete. There we go. And we'll put I'm doing all right here, considering. Might need to put another construction line in there. There we go. So, hey, Mark. Congrats on the new ute. I'm slowly getting the grips of this, but it would be very useful, I think, to be able to use both systems. Now I'm going to put a 3.8 across those points. And radius looks something like that. We might trim that. We can click X, or we can just select that. We'll extend that up there, not trim it. We'll extend that to there. And then we'll trim it, type M, trim that side. So we've got something that looks like the profile of the screw. We put that construction line in, like the center line. Click that, you can see it. There we go. We put that center line as a construction line so we can make all our dimensions across the center as diameters, which is helpful. But we can't close this up and revolve it around this line while this is still a center line or a construction line. So if we click that line there, it turns orange, and we can unclick that. And there we go. Click revolve, which is this little section of a donut here. And this is the piece we want to revolve. The revolve axis is that line there. Okay. It's got a groove, screw slot in the top. Another sketch. On the front plane again, we're going to click there because it's easier than zooming it out. This thing called a center point rectangle, we'll use that. I reckon it's about 1.2. Wide, and it's about that big. If we extrude that, just click through all, and symmetrical, so it goes out both sides. Okay, here we go. There's a screwdriver slot. This needs a thread on it. We're going to put a thread on it. Up here we've got thread creator. It's probably the best way to do that. Click that. Face it resolve. It's trying to put an imperial thread on it. We go here to ISO standard. M7 by 0.1. I'm not sure what that is. The standard, is it? Is M7 by 0.1? It sounds right. I think we will look that up before. Fully threaded. Not quite. Looking at it here, not quite. Distance. Thread length. I reckon 12 millimeters. And come from the wrong end. Start at opposite end. There we go. And there's our thread. Looks like it probably is steel, so we'll call this, we'll rename this for our assembly. I don't know what we did there. Does anyone else know what we did there? Not really. We tapped something. Help. No. I'm hopeless at this. We don't zoom it. We click Control Z. Control Z. That's not good. No idea. Escape. Oh, that's a bit pitiful, isn't it? Oh my gosh. Let me Google this. Let's have a look. Now you're getting the whole. There we go. Let's fix that. That's right. Aha, command plus and minus. It's not that. Okay. Oh, it's only this page. I'm not sure why it's done that. Anyway. And you can't even see it on the screen. That's interesting. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a seam. Sorry about the blue screen. It's me back. Let's try this. This is a bit pitiful. I'm going to get, I promise to get the hang of it. We're back. There we go. Okay, fix that. Don't know why that is. We've got cursor again. And we're back to the owned by me. We're going to try this again. Don't know. I've done that. I'm not sure why that is. Anyway, we've got that. We haven't got a thread, so we're going to go redo again. I think we can just do that. We can't, though. So we're going to have to put our thread in again, and now we didn't have a version saved. So anyway, that's all right. Go front. Zoom out a bit. Here we go. Put a new sketch in. We'll do that quickly. On the front plane, center point rectangle. from there, something like that. 1.2 wide, something like that. And we'll extrude that symmetrically and through all and remove it. Is that done? We'll put a thread on it and we're back where we started. Thread. There we go. I think probably most of my issue is that the keyboard's a little bit small. I'm getting used to that. So yeah, I've hit a random key. I don't know what that is. Anyway, we're back where we started. Let's rename this, which is what we were doing when all that happened. I was trying to right click that. That's what I was trying to do. And there is no right click on Mac. Got to remember that. Cap. Very nice that all the keys work there. Don't tell me it's done this again. No, it hasn't. Oh, look at this go. Edit appearance. It's a steel looking screw. I think we're going to make it that color. And we've got a screw. Let's put it in our assembly. We've got this blade. We can go through and we can hide that. Turn that off. That's got to go in this thread here, I believe. Click insert. Cap iron screw. Put it out here because it's not going to be lined up. And mate connector. Probably. They're fastened, I think. If we go off the top there like that, and we go off there, which is about the center. Oh, this is a bit pitiful. Sorry, guys. We need to offset it in the Z direction, I guess. Oh, that's right on there. So let's try again. There's an error. It's telling what that is. Fasten 2 has an error. Mate connectors on the same instance. So what I've done is put 2 mate connectors on the screw. That's not ideal. What we can do is click on that, right click on it, or double tap on it, or whatever you want to do, or 2-finger tap on a Mac. The easiest to go Control Z and start again. So fasten mate. First one we said is under that cap, under that screw there. We're going to put that. And the second one is going to be on that circle there. There we go. Now we can offset it. 4 millimeters, we said. That'll be a good start. So the screw's in place, pretty much, sort of. We can put our blade back in and see how that looks. Something like that. If we select a section view here, and a section view off this plane, we can move that in. And probably the thread doesn't line up as well as it could, but here's our section view. And yes, we could fix that thread quite simply. Probably not going to bother, but everything seems to line up. The screws probably a bit deep because it's actually, what we've got here is this red line here, which means that there's interference. It's quite easy to fix. On any other there we go, edit. Any other computer is probably easy to fix. Let's go 5 instead. And that moves it out so it works. 6, and it's not quite bottomed out. Let's see if that's where it needs to be. There's our screw, everything else. See, we've got a gap. You can see that there is a gap underneath here between there and the blade. And that's where our little lever goes. Where are we going? How are we going for time? No idea. It's 8:09. Let's make up this lever. It's going to mess with Peter's OCD, but it's a little lever with some interesting geometry on it. Great new part studio. And we'll rename this axial adjustment lever. That sounds about right. We want to sketch. Probably on the top plane so that we're looking down on it this way. Looking at the back of it, let's have a look. We'll go out to talking head. Let's have a look here. It's got a bend here. It should be flat all the way through here, I believe, with a nice little bend here. This piece here is straight. And this is bent just at the end of this straight here, or it should be, I think. This has got a crank in here. And then looking at the underside so you can see the profile, it's got a cutout in here. And it's got a stud right there, which this little wheel's riveted on. And then it's got a thread in there to go on that screw, which we're probably not going to bother putting the thread in it, but probably it should have one. And we're going to make it out of sheet metal, and that way we can put a Gosh, I'm dirty. Sorry. I feel like I'm just coated in sawdust and grease. Sorry. Make it a sheet metal, and then we can put a bend just here where we need to. So, first thing to do is make a sketch. I think this stud and this thread hole and this piece out the side are all on the same axis. So we might start with a construction line, press Q, or that one. There should be plenty out there. And this one here, we're going to put a 7mm hole. So we'll put that in first. There's 7mm for the thread. The centres look to be about 10mm. So our tech drawing, we would probably just put an arc on there. It's probably just as easy just to do it like this and put a dimension on it. Um, 10mm. And it's got a stud which looks to be about probably 3mm. Right on that intersection, it's got a 3mm stud. Put a 3mm hole for that. Now the radius around this back here is probably about 8mm. Center point arc on here. Let's try this. $8mm, something like that. And the radius around the front one's probably probably 5mm. So we'll do the same there. There we go, we zoom that out successfully. Hey, James. I'm just looking at this. Some interesting geometry on this piece. Get the ruler out. This radius up around here, it's about 18mm off this center, I think. So if we put another radius here like this, I'm sure that's exactly how it works. What we do know, here we go, this is where we're going to go with this. What we do know is that off this centre line, it's about 17 mil. Sometimes it's not. So we'll put a line through here. Something like that. And on the new computer, it's not quite. It's going to take me a little while to get fluent. $17, I think. There we go. So we've got what we've got is a radius that needs to be a tangent from this line up to this line. We fudge something up, or there might be a better way to do that. It almost works. Of course, it's just hand filed. Let's do it this way. 3-point arc from that point to that point, and then we'll put that on there and trim the excess. However, I don't think this point's quite exactly right, so we're going to... Control Z that. Start again. I reckon about there. That looks about right. And we need to do the same thing. There's a tangent somewhere between this shape and here. Let's call that. It's not right. Other thing is that my function button and my control button are the wrong way around on this. That's probably where I'm coming unstuck. So that's sort of got the shape. We'll offset this line. Not 5 millimeters though. 6.5, I think. Like so. Someone wants me on Messenger. Give me a second. I don't know what that's about, but they keep messaging me. It's about 5 different people, so it doesn't matter. Someone keeps messaging me insistently. I probably should do something about it. So there's a little radius in here. Probably comfortably on this line. There it goes. It's Dan, and he's got nothing to do except sit in a hotel and ring people and message people. Let's put a center point arc here. Even better. Let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. If we trim this line nicely, there and there, what we've got and there, what we've got is this line there. And if we put a center point arc here, it'll find the center of that automatically. And if we click that on there, run around there, it'll intersect with that. There we go. That's how that works. If we trim this line too, it opens that up. And looking at this from the center of the hole there, it's about 96 millimeters long. You're going to watch me and laugh because it's me trying to zoom and move it around the screen with the trackpad. A mouse will be a very good thing. But this one here, if we put a measurement on here from there, wrong one. Let's try measurement. We're going to have to do this again. All the way out here. 97 millimeters. Now this is all over the place. I apologize for that. We can put a radius on here, center point arc. Radius is 6.5. The radius actually is 3.25. It's not actually, but that'll do. There we go. And we can put a line way through there. We can press Q at any time to cancel out that if we discover we didn't really want a construction line. And we can mirror that across that line. So select our mirror line. There we go. Click on this one because it's a construction line. It doesn't need to be. So we'll click that off. Now what we've got to do is join those two up. I reckon this one wants to, let's put dimension on that line. 22 millimeters, like so. Because it's mirrored, it's changed the other one as well. And probably need to do something a little bit different here. I think we need to set this up as a spline rather than try and make that, because this has got to be equal distance all the way through there. So ideally, anyone still watching, that was me dropping a ruler. We'll put the line through there. I do wonder how AI would handle this, Peter. That's rather smart. Probably not particularly well. Let's have a look here. We're going to call the center of this from this line here. If we put dimension on here, from this one to that one, 51. Of course, it's imperial, and 2 inches is a pretty good guess. And we put a construction line across there to trim that too. And trim that one there. And put another construction line through here. It's sort of the shape. Look at that. Peter, yeah, it's awesome. Nice ute. Good stuff. We can trim these two out the back here because they're sort of surplus to requirements. What we want to do is extend them along that line there. There's an easy way to do that, and I can't think what it is at the moment. So what I'm going to do is fudge this a bit. What we're going to do is, so I think they're on spline tools. No. What we're going to do is just offset the line, this line. Call it 3.25. And probably mirror that line across like so. Extend this line till it matches that one, and this line till it meets 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 that one. Now what this hasn't done is it's got a gap somewhere. Trim that one. Trim that one. Trim that one. Trim that one. Get rid of this dot on the end here because we don't really need them for this. And we've got another extend, which we've missed. There we go. It all matches up. Looks a bit square. I reckon there's a radius on that. And we're going to call the radius and make something up, I think. Put a sketch fillet on here. That didn't work. This is what we're going to do. I told you I was tired and I've got a new computer. You can always do this. So we're going to put a radius on this spline before we start. We should have done that to start with. What have we got? What sort of a radius? When do we put our piece? Let's call it 20 mil there. And probably 10 mil there. Because we haven't got this restrained, let's move this line. So let's put a dimension on there, restrain that to there to there. And then when we do this, let's let us do it nicely. Today is sort of an experimental day for me more than an actual let's learn something. So there we go. There's a line. Now if we do this, which we probably should have done the first time, there we go. I don't think we can mirror this, so I think we've got to offset it. There, so it goes the opposite direction. Make sure we get all the lines. And of course, because this isn't restrained, because we've cut this line out, that's moved. Easy to put a restraint in there. that what it was? 17.75. Does that sound right? No, it doesn't. Let's measure this one to there. 13.75. Memory. 0.75. There we go. It's done some strange things here. Let's undo that and put the measurement in here first. And let's fix that. We still need to put a line across there. And that's giving us our basic shape. A lot of messing around in that, more than you would think. That's our shape. Let's make a sheet metal model. Not that one, this one. Sheet metal model from there. Extrude, sketch curves to extrude is okay, 1.6 millimeters thick. Face of sketch 1. And there's our sheet metal part. It needs a bend in it just here. We might do that. There's a flat view. Best way to do that is to go back to our sketch. Edit that. And put our line in there that we want to actually bend it, which is sort of right there, I think. Like there, that's where it wants to be bent. Show the sketch, then it shows that. We have a look here, bend. The bend line is there. We don't want it 90 degrees, we want it, oh gosh, it's pretty atrocious, but let's try 45. There's that way. Start. We turn the sketch off or hide it. And that should be something like what we've got. I don't know if it clears anything. I don't know if it works. But interesting little piece. Bit of a challenge, more than the challenge than I thought. It's only a very rough interpretation of it. But hang of this. I'm going to have to play with this a bit. But anyway, we press P to turn our planes off, and that's what we've got. So a little bit impressed with that. Try doing that on each sketch, James says. Now, I think that's too much of a bend, right? And not too sharp a bend. We can edit that. And we put it sharp. We can put a much more generous bend in there if we want. It's probably a bit much, 12 millimeters. Let's go for 5 millimeters. That's a nice looking part, an ugly one I've got. Whatever I've done it again there. I think I'm about ready to call this a night. We've got that part made because I've done that again. Exactly the same. Anyway, I might call this. Thanks, guys, for being so patient with it. I'm really not. I'm learning. I'm trying to make this work. It's a whole new operating system, and I'm just getting the hang of it. I don't know why it's done that. But it's done the same thing again, whatever it's done. So doing exactly the same operation. I don't know. Anyway, it saves itself automatically. It's cloud-based, so it's already still there. If we open it again, it'll be fine. But I think next week we'll have a trial fit up of this and make a roller for it and a little pin. That should be really straightforward stuff. Put it in place and make the axle movement work on the blade. It should be a pretty good start. And then we're running out of bits to actually fit. We've got this in. We've got. I'll go back here to. Talking head. Don't know. Mystery. I'm going to have to get on top of that though. We've got this little piece here to make. And we've got this piece. And everything's done. So not a big deal. I'm not going to say we're going to do that in one session. We're certainly not, I don't think. But we're not far off being finished. I've got other jobs I really want to do. I want to CAD up a piece for my oval turning chuck for my lathe. That's something that's out on the bench, and we'll have a look at that tomorrow night. Whether it actually happens or whether anything actually comes of that, I don't know this time around. I've got 1,000 other things I need to do. I don't as yet have any capability of 3D printing from this machine, so that's something I need to work on. And we'll see how we go. But anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry it's a bit sketchy and all over the place tonight because honestly, still learning this machine. First time I've opened this software with this new machine, so a bit tricky. Anyway, thanks guys. I'm going to call this. I'm going to go and actually do some other stuff that needs doing as well. And more soon.